Hey there guys, this is GT5Man21 here, and today here is your review of the Monaco Grand Prix from Monte Carlo. And I know it is late. I am doing this on Thursday the 5th of June, and the race was last week. The reason for this, for the reason why this is late, is because I didn't get around to doing it at all. I was a bit busy with schoolwork and all that, but I'm still a little bit at the moment, but I've got some free time right now, and my exam's actually finished next week, so yeah, that should be pretty good. My schedule should be back underway after the exams are finished, because some series have been put back, like WRL, CCW, my CCW wrestling show, the Offline Leagues Community, my FIFA Manager mode, some other series as well, which are putting back because of the exams. But yeah, also for those of you who are wondering where the career mode is, the All Stars F1 career mode is, I took a little bit of a break, but it should be back this Saturday even. So yeah, but let's get into the video. So we have the review. So let's start off in qualifying. First Q, a lot of people were making a lot of mistakes. Well, it is Monaco, for example. And not that much. There wasn't really a surprise in Q1. It was mainly the usual suspects that went out. So the people that went out were Esteban Gutierrez, Adrian Sutil, Jules Bianchi, Max Chilton, Kamui Kobayashi, and Marcus Ericsson. They were the people who got knocked out. In Q2, there was a lot of shocks. And yeah, Lotus, after their brilliant form in Spain, went downhill again. The pair of them could only manage 14th and 15th. The pair of them were struggling. And but also a surprise, the Williamses were also struggling as well. Bottas could only manage 13th, and Felipe Massa, who actually, come to think of it, in Q1 had a bit of an incident with, in fact, Marcus Ericsson, which damaged his suspension, meaning that he couldn't get underway for Q number 2, so he started 16th. Battle for the Force Indias, pair of them fighting out for 10th place, but at the end Perez rode it through and Hulkenberg was knocked out. Jenson Button was also another shock as well. He was out in Q2 as well. As you can hear some more buzzing, I do apologise, it's just the way my wires are slinged up. Anyway, so the people who got knocked out in Q number 2 were Nico Hulkenberg, Jenson Button, Valtteri Bottas, Romain Grosjean, Pastor Maldonado, and Felipe Massa. So then we had our top 3 for Q, top 10 even for Q3, and it was going to be another Mercedes pole position, we knew, but which one would get it? The best of the rest, though, was Daniel Ricciardo qualifying in 3rd position. Sebastian Vettel was 4th, again out-qualified by his teammate. Fernando Alonso was 5th with Kimi Räikkönen 6th, and Jean-Eric Vergne was pretty good as well. The two Mercedes fighted it out, but then there was a controversial incident, similar to Michael Schumacher to some people. Nico Rosberg was on his 2nd lap because he knew that Lewis Hamilton was going to do another lap. When at turn number, after the corner, well, at Mirabeau, he locked up, or struggled with the balance, and went straight on, meaning that the yellow flag came out, and Lewis went through, but had to slow down because of it. Lewis backed out, and Nico Rosberg went on to take pole position. Nico was on pole with Lewis Hamilton 2nd. Lewis Hamilton was a little bit annoyed as he claimed that Nico Rosberg did that deliberately. In my mind, I don't think he did do it deliberately. My family would say that it was, but to me it didn't look like it, because clearly he locked up. He clearly did not like the balance of the car. He couldn't get it set for the corner. Didn't look confident and just went straight on. I mean, where else do you want him to go after a lock-up and a little bit of an oversteer? Do you want him to go straight into the barrier? God, no. I don't think Rosberg intended to make his teammate go slower, besides the friends. But yeah, so Nico Rosberg took the pole position. There was an investigation, and it turned out that Rosberg did not do it deliberately. So Rosberg took pole ahead of Lewis Hamilton, with Daniel Ricciardo 3rd, Sebastian Vettel 4th, Alonso 5th, Räikkönen 6th, Vergne was in 7th, with Magnussen 8th, Kvyat 9th, and Perez in 10th. So let's go through the full grid. So, yeah, here's the full grid. Nico Rosberg was on pole with Lewis Hamilton second. Daniel Ricciardo was third with Sebastian Vettel fourth. Fernando Alonso fifth. Kimi Raikkonen was in sixth place. And then it was Jean-Eric Vergne seventh with Kevin Magnussen eighth. Daniel Kvyat in ninth. Sergio Perez in 10th. Nico Hulkenberg 11th with Jenson Button 12th. Valtteri Bottas was 13th with Romain Grosjean 14th. Pastor Maldonado 15th with Felipe Massa in 16th. Esteban Gutierrez 17th. Adrian Sutil 18th. Jules Bianchi 19th. Max Chilton 20th. Kamui Kobayashi 21st. And Marcus Ericsson, who was 27th, second even. But I think he elected to stop. Actually, no. To reverse that, Bianchi had a little bit of a penalty, dropping him down to 21st. So Chilton was 19th with Kamui Kobayashi 20th, Bianchi 23rd, and Ericsson 22nd, who elected to start from the pit lane, I believe. So, thank you. We get to the race, and yeah, so a good start from Nico Rosberg, kept the lead into turn number 1. It was a great start for Kimi Raikkonen, who made it up into 4th position, passing Daniel Ricciardo, who didn't get a good start. Sebastian Vettel got it up to 3rd. And then there was a bit of carnage down at Mirabeau. Jenson Button tagged the side of Sergio Perez, sending him into a spin, with the cars having to go around him. And the safety car came out because of that. It took them a couple of laps, but they managed to clear the cars. So the safety car came in and the race was back on. The Mercedes were back on the power. But straight away, it became obvious that one of them did not get off. Sebastian Vettel struggled. He couldn't get the power down. He was clearly had a problem. He was dropping back. Raikkonen moved up to 3rd. Ricciardo moved up to 4th. Everyone was just overtaking him. Vettel was slowing. He clearly had a problem. He came back to the pits. They sent him on his way again. But as he came back out, he was stuck in the gears. He was stuck in one gear even. But it actually turned out he had a turbo issue, which grounded his day to a halt. Disappointing there for Sebastian Vettel. Raikkonen and Ricciardo were fighting it out, and that pretty much set the scene, really. Well, what do I mean set the scene? It was going to be a battle between the Mercedes for the lead and a battle for 3rd between Raikkonen and Ricciardo. Fernando Alonso was waiting for any opportunity for that 3rd place to be taken. Well, actually, but at the start, Pastor Maldonado did not get underway. He stalled and could not get the engine going again, so he retired without even starting. The next retirement came from Daniel Kvyat. He retired. I think he had a problem of some sort. The pair of Raikkonen and Ricciardo was still fighting it out. Fernando's still looking for an opportunity. Lewis Hamilton was battling with Rosberg but could not find a way past at all. And then the second safety car came out with Adrian Sutil crashing at the exit of the tunnel. He was actually making some great overtakes like he did last year. Overtook at the Grand Hotel hairpin like he did in the Force India last year, especially one with Fernando Alonso. But he lost it coming out the tunnel, crashing into the wall and sending himself into the barriers and into retirement. The safety car came out, but it was already a team mistake from Lewis Hamilton. He wanted to pit when the safety car, he knew he should have pitted before Adrian Sutil had crashed. He felt like he should have pitted, but he missed out, and because of that, he had to leave a big gap for Nico Rosberg to come in, and then he to come in. The pair of them didn't lose any track position, but that cost Lewis any chance of winning the Grand Prix. The battle between Raikkonen and Ricciardo was on. After their pit stops, Raikkonen was still ahead of Ricciardo. But then, disaster. Raikkonen, after having a brilliant race, unfortunately, he had some debris on his tyres causing a puncture. He had to come in to replace the tyre. That left Ricciardo up to 3rd. Raikkonen had dropped back. Fernando had moved up to 4th. And after a few laps, the safety car came in and the race was back on. So Rosberg still kept ahead of Hamilton and Ricciardo just couldn't keep up with them. Fernando Alonso was having a look but straight away he couldn't really get Ricciardo. Then the next retirement was Jean-Eric Vergne. He had a similar problem to Daniel Kvyat and retired. He became the, if I can count, the 6th retirement of the day. Then really no retirements came after that. It was pretty much Hamilton versus Rosberg fighting it out for their second win in Monaco. Ricciardo was just dropping back. He just did not have the pace to keep up with the two Mercedes. And Fernando Alonso, well, he couldn't really keep up at all. Yeah, so after that we had the second round of stops, and Rosberg. Well, actually, people were trying to go for a one stop. Actually, I don't remember if they had a second stop. I can't remember that much of the race, so I do apologise. But yeah, so our next retirement actually came from Valtteri Bottas. He had an engine failure, which cost him. Really, it's his first retirement of the season, and his 100% record of this year shattered thanks to an engine failure. But what was a surprise was a guy who was in a top 10. Jules Bianchi in the Marussia was in the top 10. If he could keep it up, he could get Marussia's first ever F1 point and become the first newer team to get points in Formula 1 out of Marussia and Caterham. Caterham and Marussia have not scored a point yet, and nor did HRT when they were around. But Bianchi would have to have a little bit of a twist. He was given a 5-second time penalty at the end of the race, so he had to really push to keep up and he elected to not take it during a pit stop. So it meant that his 5 seconds would be added to the time at the end. So he had to really push hard to make sure that he could get any points out of this race. But he was going to get luck after Bottas' retirement, because Gutierrez spun round Raskas and stalled the engine. Sauber's chances of their first points went up in smoke. They had yet to score a point yet, and it was another double retirement for the team. Sauber are clearly struggling. Kimi Raikkonen was making it up the field, but he was slowly making it up. I can't remember if there was a safety car because of that, but in fact I don't think there actually was. So that left Bianchi up into 8th position. But he had to keep back Grosjean, who was catching, but he was able to keep ahead. But then something bizarre happened with Lewis Hamilton. He dropped back quite a long way from Nico Rosberg. A lot of us were presuming that he was preserving, but it actually turned out that when we had a look at the Mercedes pit lane, there was Mercedes mechanics were out, and that we all thought that he had a problem. But it actually turned out he had something in his eye. How it got in, it actually turned out to be dirt going into his eye. How it got in, we don't know, but it did make his eye really puffy. The mechanics were waiting for him in the pits, but he elected to keep going with one eye. How he would do that is unknown. But because of that, Ricciardo was catching up to him, and with a few laps left, he was right up the back of him. Lewis knew that it was hard to overtake, but it was not impossible, so he had to keep defending him, even though he was driving with one eye. Jules Bianchi knew he had to push in order to get Marussia's first point. But in the end, Nico Rosberg, who ran away with it after Lewis's problems, came across the line to take his second win of the season and his 5th win of his career. To be honest, he did need that win. He fully deserved that one. It was about time he got a second win. And because of that, Nico Rosberg retakes the lead in the Drivers' Championship. Lewis Hamilton, surprisingly with one eye, managed to defend Daniel Ricciardo to finish second, so he wouldn't lose too much points to Nico Rosberg. He would still be 4 points behind, with Daniel Ricciardo crossing the line in 3rd. Fernando Alonso crossed the line in 4th, with Nico Hülkenberg crossing the line in 5th. Jenson Button, who had made a lot of incredible overtakes and nearly got Nico Hülkenberg, finished 6th. Felipe Massa was in 7th. But congratulations to Marussia for finally getting their first ever points in Formula 1. Despite their finishing 8th, because of the 5-second penalty they had, he would get deducted a position by Grosjean. But it didn't matter because they still finished ninth, which is 2 points. Congratulations to Marussia for getting their first points in Formula 1. So Grosjean officially finished 8th, with Bianchi 9th. Kevin Magnussen finished in the final point in 10th, with Marcus Ericsson in 11th. Came so close to getting some points, but just couldn't get it. It would have been brilliant if Caterham also got points as well, but they just missed out. Kimi Raikkonen could only manage to finish 12th and a lap down, with Kamui Kobayashi 13th and Max Chilton finishing 14th. And the retirements were Esteban Gutierrez, Valtteri Bottas, Jean-Eric Vergne, Adrian Sutil, Daniel Kvyat, Sebastian Vettel, Sergio Perez, and Pastor Maldonado, who didn't start. Lewis was a little bit annoyed and said in an interview that him and Nico Rosberg were not friends. They were just colleagues. But Nico said that they were still friends. But good news is that they chatted on, I believe it was Tuesday. I think it was last Thursday, actually, not Tuesday. And they had a chat, and they are still friends. Thank God. People are saying that those two are going to become another Senna and Prost. But if they're still friends, they could reduce that chance. I hope it doesn't get to that, where those two are arguing, because they are the best of friends. They've been friends since karting, really, I think. And it'd be so disappointing if they just end their friendship, because they seem to be very close and they want to fight each other. But, it's Formula 1. What can you do? Who knows what's going to happen? So, yeah, I'm going to get up the Drivers' Championship when I can find it. Stop it. The buzzing. Sorry about this, guys. So, let me get it up. So, yeah, like I said, the All-Stars F1 career mode, I took a little bit of a break from that because I was just getting a little bit tired of doing it every week. But it will be back this Saturday, I promise. Well, I hope it'll be this Saturday anyway. If not, then I've broken the promise. But we're getting there now, guys. So, yeah, I'm having to do this actually before for Canada, because practice for that actually is tomorrow. So yeah, it's refusing. But anyway, Nico Rosberg leads the championship anyway, ahead of Lewis Hamilton, who is in second position, 4 points behind, with I believe it is Fernando Alonso third, with Daniel Ricciardo moving up to fourth. He is ahead of his teammate. Nico Hulkenberg is in fifth, with Sebastian Vettel dropping down to sixth position. And yeah, so it's really, really weird for Sebastian Vettel to be in that position. But yeah, what can you do? So the constructors, Mercedes have really run away with it, with Red Bull second, Ferrari are in third. The next race is in Canada, one of Lewis's strongest tracks. Let's hope he can take the lead back in the championship for us Brits. Okay. So yeah, that is my review of the Monaco Grand Prix. Sorry for the stuttering and sorry it's been late. I just wasn't prepared, and I wanted to rush before Canada came on, and I was very busy with exams and that. So yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed this review. Please give it a comment and subscribe if you're new. And until next time, I have been GT5Man21, and I will talk to you guys later. Cheers.